launch a podcast YouTube show. So, with my Substack, I've been focusing on bringing you experts within the podcasting space, long form space, authors, people who talk on stages. And as I gear up for the relaunch of my podcast YouTube show, I would just pop on live and offer some tips and tricks so that you can also learn while I'm inspiring you with my guest conversations and Substack newsletter. I'm just going to change the title real quick here. How to launch, to create, we'll say that, how to produce a podcast. All right, so that's today's topic. On my Substack and also on YouTube, I'll make sure to put a link in the description that pushes to my free PDF. It's the roadmap to podcasting. On this podcasting roadmap, it'll take you through the journey you need to really think through to produce a podcast that is worth watching and something that is going to be easy for you to commit to. So you really need to map out your plan and understand whether or not it fits into your life, if you can afford it, how you plan on managing all the technology. So ever since I began podcasting during COVID, I've been teaching myself all the technology, but I'm still learning, I swear, every week. So you need to be someone who either can afford to hire a producer or a technical team or learn to do it yourself. So there's a lot that goes into it. Also, you need to think about, can you afford or can you create the thumbnails for YouTube and the tiles for your podcast? So, when you are thinking through this amazing idea that you have for your podcast, your YouTube show, I need you to also take a beat and really reflect on whether or not you can do it. On my roadmap to podcasting, which you can download, the link is in the description. I basically remind you that, once you have decided on your concept, you know what you're going to talk about. Actually, let me take a step back. You first need to identify what you can passionately show up and talk about every week or every other week. You also need to know, okay, if I can passionately talk about this every week, what are the different angles and what are the different ways I can make this look interesting and sound appealing every week whenever I'm talking about this topic? If you decide that your podcast, your YouTube show, your Substack is going to really lean into the news, what resources do you have to make your conversation stand out against all the others in that lane, right? So if you decide, okay, I'm going to comment on the news, well, what type of audience are you looking to attract away from those that are already doing it? Or how are you hoping to deliver so you have an audience that isn't already consuming news elsewhere? What are you going to bring to the table? When you are deciding your concept, I also highly recommend you figure out who your audience is. Some people will say, you need to know your avatar. And maybe I need to have the mic closer to my mouth because I've not been having it there. Sorry, guys, I got all heated. Wanted to deliver for you. I would say, you then need to really think about who your audience is. Some will they call this the avatar. Like, who is your avatar? Who are you trying to talk to? What is the promise, the transformation that your audience is going to get by showing up and consuming your content? And if you're going to be taped, how are you editing all that? And if it's going to be on YouTube, how are you visually displaying all your points? There's a lot that needs to be thought through before you just click record and launch. So yes, check out the link in the description or in this newsletter on Substack, and I will give you the roadmap to podcasting. You can also reach out to me for full service podcasting. Our team of former CNNers and also other former journalists, we are ready to help you from scripting to editing and beyond. We can do it, and we have a great team at OnCam Ready. You can visit our website oncamready.com to learn more about me and then reach out for a list of services. But yes, we do offer full service podcasting. I am in the process, I'm excited to launch a podcasting network. So I am also looking for podcasters. I'll be putting out an application to really start and figure out who those other podcasters will be. So if you are looking for a network, I'll put together an application. Be sure to follow me on Substack and on Instagram at Jamie underscore the producer. So that when I have that application, you can fill it out and get in on the network. So the network is going to be hopefully very supportive. I want to make it more mastermind focused, where all those that are involved have an opportunity to lean on one another to remain accountable. So I'm just trying to make sure that this network supports the mission, but also that those involved support each other. So let me just say hi on my chat real quick. Hey, if you are watching, please comment to let me know you are here. Thank you everyone who is joining me live. I'm trying to test out these lives as much as possible to really get a better sense of how people want to engage, how people are consuming content. I will start to schedule them because I've read that scheduling your lives is better than just popping on, but I'm going to just pop on until I can start getting into a rhythm. Right now, I am cross promoting and going live across YouTube, Riverside, and Substack. So, hello, everybody. If you're watching this on Substack, I did not put out a newsletter this week because I had tested lives. I am going to start evolving this Substack into more lives and video content because that's just how I enjoy content, and I find myself reading less and watching and consuming more visually, so I'm going to start delivering in that respect. I will still have guest contributors. I will still have a newsletter where I weigh in on topics, share tips, and have guest speakers, contributors weigh in as well on their niches and give you advice on how to show up on camera and create long form and short form content. But I'm also going to be incorporating more videos and live. So I hope you are all game for that. And my podcast, I am still looking for guests. I interviewed two so far. I'm real excited for those conversations, but I want to get deeper. I want people who are willing to talk about truly what they have overcome in their lives and wound up delivering on all their dreams on camera. I really just want that one person, even if it's just one, who pours their heart out on that mic and really connects with everyone on a personal level. So if you feel like you're that person and you want to share what you have overcome to show up on camera, to be yourself on social, please, please tell me who you are and let me know what you're all about. I have an application process, so I will put that in the description as well. All right, so let's get back to this podcast, how to create and how to produce a podcast. So, yes, I have my roadmap to podcasting. Definitely check that out. I also have a little thing that I prepped. Got to bring it up. My script disappeared. See, guys, like that's also something you have to think about. Like, can you juggle a ton of tabs on your computer? Because if you can do this. All right, let me get that real quick. Okay. So, once you've decided what you can passionately talk about every week or whenever you are planning on delivering your commentary or your interview, I highly recommend that you have it mapped out, scheduled out, and think through all the hooks and angles. Okay. So, nail down your concept. You're then going to think, okay, let's focus on the format. Either you're an interview podcast YouTube show or you're not. Okay. Yes, you can be both, but either you are or you're not. And make that determination early on. Like, do you want to have guests or do you want to deliver ideas and have like a thesis that you are proving on every episode? I really need you to hammer out your concept, know what that is, and then choose your format. You also want to choose your platform. You do not need to be everywhere. You don't. You could just say, hey, I'm going to focus on YouTube, or no, I'm not going to focus on YouTube. I'm going to just be on Substack or Inspo or wherever you're going. Okay. Decide. And then think, okay, is it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? What can I commit to? After that, I really need you to focus on the equipment. If you don't have the right equipment, like when I started this, my mic was over here and I probably sounded horrible. But if you don't have the right equipment, you're going to look amateur and you're also going to sound bad. So get that squared away right away. I've had this mic for a long time because as I said, we started podcasting actually before COVID. So I think it was 2018, 2019. My husband and I started a podcast, audio only, recording our favorite spots wherever we traveled, just the sounds. And this was when comms started to get big, and I was like, "Oh, they're ahead of me." I was all about like calm sounds, and it was called oh my gosh, I can't even remember now. Anyway, we had this podcast. It's not on anymore. We then tried another podcast where it was my husband and I, and he made the music for it. And the two of us were going to get on and just talk about life and shoot the shit. That went nowhere because of our jobs. We both realized we can't. That was during COVID. We can't be that public. And we felt like maybe this isn't the right format for us. Then I started to just continue learning the podcasting technology. And then I had a podcast in cable news, which was fun, really great. And then I kept podcasting since and creating content so I could learn. And it takes years. It takes practice. I still don't know what my set should look like. I mean, I'm purple right now and I'm like, okay, like this kind of looks good. I I nailed a plant into the wall. Like I didn't have I had an idea for the wall. I didn't do it because it cost money. And I said, you know what? I'll hang a plant and then we'll see if I enjoy this. Cause again, I'm showing up and on Substack, for example, I'm showing up regularly with my newsletter and that was growing. But then it wasn't, it stopped. And a lot of people on Substack are growing at like 1,000 a day. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. So if I can't continue showing up, I'm not gonna. So I'm not gonna invest in making my studio any better than it is. It's pretty darn good right now. After you've had your equipment, your mic, if you use headphones, your lights. You also need to know what recording platform you're going to use. So I highly recommend not using Zoom. Guys, oh my gosh, whenever people say, oh, I do it on Zoom, I'm like, what? Save yourself. Get like StreamYard or Riverside. It will be in the cloud. You'll have you can get a transcript, you can edit it there. I use Riverside. If you want a discount, I'll make sure that's in the body of this newsletter or on YouTube. And then I need you to write out the structure of your show. Write your open, decide on how the flow. Like, what's the flow? Are you going to have an opening, a main concept, your outro, your call to action? I also need you to understand what your promise is. I'm promising you that I'm going to help you figure out how to launch your podcast on this live, right? I said it off the top. I'm going to deliver. You need to be doing the same thing, but your promise it kind of needs to stick to a consistent offer. Like, are you going to constantly blow my mind on what's happening in the news in the world? Are you going to make me realize that I need, certain marketing tools? Like, what are you going to do for me every time I tune in? So think through that. All right. I have so many more tips, but I promised myself that I would do a part two and I would not be on here for more than 15 minutes. And I'm at 14 minutes. So I'm going to go. I'm testing this out. And I hope some of these tips are exactly what you needed to start your day or your weekend so that you can eventually produce and then launch your podcast. All right, guys, follow the Substack On Cam Ready. Follow me on YouTube, also at On Cam Ready. And if you are looking for a full service podcast group, turn to On Cam Ready. If you need social media productions, turn to On Cam Ready. We have a fascinating team. I'm building out my website, oncamready.com. It'll soon have a list of my partners that I work with so that you can get to know who you get when you come to us. All right, I'll see you guys online. Bye.